And as you heard in Alex Thomas's report, Sebastian Coe was mentioned. The I.A.A.F president is under pressure following Monday's shocking revelations, and he has been called to appear before the British Parliament's Culture, Media and Sports Committee. Now, I spoke to Damian Collins, who is on that committee, and began by asking him whether it was possible Coe was not aware of what was going on at the I.A.A.F.
Well, this is a difficult situation for Seb Coe because his defence has got to be, even though he was vice president of the I.A.A.F and he'd worked alongside the former president for 8 years, that he didn't know what was going on, which might lead some people to suggest, is he the right person to lead the organisation now? But I think the one thing I'd say about Seb Coe is he has been a very outspoken critic of doping in athletics and sport for a very long time. But he has, I think, a very narrow window of opportunity now to demonstrate that he's the right man to lead the I.A.A.F and World Athletics out of this growing crisis.
Now, you will be on a committee questioning Coe just before Christmas. We know he has a sponsorship deal with Nike. You want him to end that. Just explain why.
Well, I think he's got to cancel that agreement. I don't think it's right that the president of the World Athletics governing body should effectively be sponsored by Nike, one of the major sports brands. And also it will create a conflict of interest where Nike-sponsored athletes are themselves part of investigations into allegations of doping. The way that's handled, people will ask questions about the link between Coe and those cases. So that is why he should end that relationship right now. And that's certainly something I'll be asking him about when he becomes before our committee before Christmas.
Now, many have drawn comparisons between this corruption scandal and the FIFA scandal. What's your opinion?
I think
What are the similarities?
Yeah, I think the similarities are when you have organisations run by a small elite group of people where there's virtually no oversight of what they do and how they act. That's how crises occur. And I think what Seb Coe and the I.A.A.F have got to prepare themselves for is a likely scenario this will go wider and deeper and further around the world than they suspect. This is not just going to be a few rogue people, it's going to be a big problem, a cultural problem that has to change, just as it has been in FIFA as well.
Some say government should be more involved with oversight, but in this case, the Kremlin is accused of state-sponsored doping. So if not governments, who should provide that oversight?
Well, there are two things. I think governments should use their powers to pursue criminal matters, and corruption is a criminal matter. So, as the FBI have done with FIFA, I think law enforcement agencies should go after bribery and corruption and money laundering cases in sport. But the governance of sport has got to be separate from politics. But most of these organisations, what they need is an independent reform commission to sort them out, to clean them out. But then what they need is proper independent oversight of their day-to-day responsibilities.
Now, the IOC has come out and said it has faith that Russia can clean up and comply in order to compete in next year's Olympics. Given this is such a widespread systemic problem, do you think that's possible?
I think it's hard to see how that could be achieved. I mean, firstly, I think there should be a provisional suspension of the Russian Federation by the I.A.A.F when its executive meets on Friday. But I think Russia would have to demonstrate that it had got rid of all of the officials that were involved, all of the athletes that had been involved, and that it also, crucially, as the World Anti-Doping Agency report said, that there was proper separation between the Russian government and Russian sport. And I can't see how they're going to achieve that. I mean, if Vitaly Mutko is still the sports minister, someone who was accused in the report of interfering in these matters, I can't see how we can have any confidence that Russia would be clean and able to compete.